Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So on this video today, going to give you a bit more additional information in regards to Alexis Sanchez. Also going to keep you up to date with what's going on with Paul Pogba, and of course these lots of other things to talk about. So we do know that the transfer saga does continue to persist in regards to Alexis Sanchez, but now I do believe Sanchez could remain at the football club, because obviously for the entirety of the summer, obviously his substantial wages have seen to be the stumbling block of Alexis Sanchez leaving Manchester United, because obviously we do know that Sanchez is the highest paid player at the football club. Obviously he's on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. And obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had his overarching view on the Alexis Sanchez speculation, and he actually believes that Sanchez will come good this season. Obviously we do know Sanchez has been below on his fitness, and obviously he's obviously working towards full fitness as Alexis Sanchez. And we do know Sanchez is behind the likes of Martial, he's also behind Rashford, he's also behind Daniel James and that. But I do believe he will get given his opportunities this season, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expects Alexis Sanchez to play a lot of games once he's fully fit and that. We do know there has been like a trio of Italian clubs that have been interested in Sanchez. I think Juventus, AC Milan, and Napoli and that have been interesting. Obviously there was talks earlier the week saying that Roma had been in talks with Manchester United of the prospect of taking Alexis Sanchez out on loan. But I do believe with his substantial wages, like I just said, this could be the stumbling block of him leaving Manchester United and all that. Obviously we do know Sanchez has not yet played this season. Obviously he didn't play throughout pre-season. Obviously because I think Sanchez had been playing on Copa America due with Chile, and obviously sustained a hamstring issue then. So like I said, he's working back to full fitness, Mr. Sanchez. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has confirmed that Sanchez still wants to be a part of the squad for this season. Obviously we do know that Sanchez has been a huge disappointment so far, since his arrival from Arsenal in January 2018. Obviously he's made 45 appearances and only scored 5 goals in that. So Sanchez has been a huge disappointment, and obviously he hasn't lived up to expectation levels, as we all thought he would have done, because he was an exceptional player when he was at Arsenal. He had 4 good years with Arsenal. He also did well at Barcelona when he was younger, and he actually played under Pep Guardiola's guidance and that. But Sanchez doesn't really have a future at the football club, because he's now 30. I think he's nearly 31 years of age and that. But he's still, there's definitely no improvements needed in his game, because he is one of the problematic players at the football club. And I did say the only way we could get rid of Sanchez is, of course, we do put him out on a long season loan. I think we would be happy to pay the majority of his substantial wages to get him on that long season loan. But I think we're finding it very, very difficult to offload him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has also denied speculation that Alexis Sanchez, has obviously been sent to train with the Man United reserves team in order, to sanction him out of the football club and that, because there was reports emerging out earlier on this week saying that Solskjaer was ready to send him to the reserve team, to send him out of the football club and that. This is what it basically said in that, and it said at one point that Solskjaer wanted Alexis Sanchez out, but now there's been a change of scenery, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still believe that Sanchez will come good at Manchester United. So I do believe now that Sanchez probably will end up staying at the football club for this season and that. But like I said, he's on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses. And he's the highest paid player at the football club, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League and that. And I did say his wages having a bad effect on the football club, and obviously we've got players on big contracts anywhere and that. But I do believe more players do need to be sold by Manchester United. Obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, we have seen 4 players depart the football club. Obviously we do know Romelu Lukaku left the other week, and that was, in that aspect, that was very, very good business for Manchester United. We generated a substantial amount for the flop. Basically, we recouped the money that we did pay for Lukaku a couple of years ago. Obviously Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years at Manchester United. Obviously Handa Herrera and Marion Fellaini left left the football club. Obviously it got confirmed recently that Joe Pereira left Manchester United to go to Scotland with Hearts on loan and that. But I do believe we do need to sell more players. The news in regards to Paul Pogba, as I did update you in the early hours of this morning. Obviously, Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias, he came out and gave his overarching view on the speculation about Paul Pogba, and he believes that his brother, does want to quit Manchester United and that. And reportedly said that Matthias, Paul Pogba's brother, had launched a gaping attack on Jose Mourinho. I think this was reported from Talksport yesterday in that. But we do know Paul Pogba has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, throughout the transfer saga, does continue to persist about Paul Pogba. But we do know for the entirety of the summer he has been relentlessly linked with move to Real Madrid and that. Obviously, there has been talk saying that he could possibly make a return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin, but hasn't really replicated this form since he did make the return to Manchester United. I think there's still uncertainty around Paul Pogba's future in that. I think he's indicated out that he could still leave Manchester United this summer, but he did confirm a couple of months ago. Paul Pogba said basically at the start of the summer, I think it was, that he, a couple of months ago, I think it was, he said, that he wanted to leave Manchester United, and of course he publicly admitted this, and of course he did say, he's seeking for a new challenge. He said he wanted to leave, obviously, to rejuvenate his career and that. Obviously, Solskjaer has been talking a lot about Paul Pogba recently. He also spoke a lot about Paul Pogba, throughout pre-season, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is, because we do know the difference he makes in that midfield. He's creative, he's good at passing the ball and that, he's good at feeding the attackers, is Paul Pogba, and when he's at his best form, he's like 2 players in one, is Pogba, and I think, he did well throughout pre-season. He also did well against Chelsea, obviously, providing 2 assists and that, and obviously he's still 26 years of age in his prime, still got a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing. Of course, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, he's not only our most expensive signing, he's a World Cup winner, plus he's one of the highest paid players in the football club and that. Obviously, we're very adamant that Paul Pogba's initially not for sale, but we quoted out that we wanted somewhere in the region of around 170 or 180 million pounds. Real Madrid, of course, are unwilling to meet this, so obviously, we're demanding just over double than what we initially paid from Juventus back in 2016. Well, some reports are circulating out saying that we want around 150 or 160 million pounds for him. Obviously, Real Madrid already have spent a substantial amount throughout the course of the summer. They spent 300 million pounds on 5 players of Real Madrid, or is it just over 300 million pounds? Don't get me wrong, Real Madrid have sold some players as well, so they have generated some of the money back. I think they've generated around 100 million pounds. But I do believe if Paul Pogba leaves the football club, he will make the move to Real Madrid, because I do believe his first choice preference is Real Madrid, and his likely destination, of course, is Real Madrid. But we need to keep Paul Pogba, especially with our failure, with our failure to land in midfield, throughout the course of the summer and that. So hopefully, we can convince him to remain at the football club. Don't forget, Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he's been working on trying to get Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid completed, throughout the course of the summer, and he actually quoted out at the beginning of pre-season that Paul Pogba, he said that Paul Pogba was in the process of leaving Manchester United. But it hasn't only been this summer that Paul Pogba's been widely spoken about and subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, reflecting back last summer under the Jose Mourinho era, there was a lot of rumours, of course, of Paul Pogba leaving, because obviously at that point Paul Pogba felt unsettled at the club, because he never really got the opportunities, to flourish in that under Jose Mourinho and that. And obviously Paul Pogba had a really bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. But obviously Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the football club. Obviously he got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club and all that. But there was talks about him going to Juventus last year. I think there was also talks about him going to Barcelona back in January and that. But he's still a very, very imperative player for Manchester United. It was initially not looking at Solskjaer's plans, to build a side around Paul Pogba. So I do believe now that Paul Pogba and Alexis Sanchez, could be staying at the football club. But I did say with Sanchez he could be staying due to his substantial wages, and with Paul Pogba, I think based on the extortionate amount we've put on him, he could be staying at the football club as well. Sanchez, I don't think he's an imperative player. I think he's one of the problematic players. But with Pogba, I think it's very, very imperative, that we do keep him at the football club and that. Because initially, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba, built a great relationship. But Real Madrid have had quite a few players on their agenda. They've had quite a few players on their agenda of Real Madrid. Obviously, they have been in for Christian Eriksen, but I do believe their first choice preference is Paul Pogba over Christian Eriksen. Probably Christian Eriksen would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba. But I do believe, Paul Pogba is their first choice preference. So Paul Pogba came out the other week and actually said he's fully committed to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's project and that. But I still believe his future is uncertain. But I do believe, now that Paul Pogba, could be remaining at the football club. Maybe he won't remain at the football club for the rest of his playing career, but I think he could remain. I think he should remain at the football club for this season. Solskjaer's convinced that he will remain at the football club this season, and that which is obviously very very good news. But obviously, I think the players we was in for throughout the course of the summer, I think we'll probably reignite our interest in them in January. So I do believe we'll probably go back in for Bruno Fernandes in January. We may go back in for Christian Eriksen in January. We may go back in for Paul Dybala in January. But these were all the players, of course, we was in for throughout the course of the summer. Don't get me wrong, I've got strong reservations about that midfield, because obviously that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, of course, was to add reinforcements in that midfield. Of course, and obviously we failed to get a midfielder in. Obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave his overarching view on the summer transfer winning. He said he was very delighted with our summer transfer business. Obviously, we recommended 3 good players into the football club. Obviously, we spent £148 million on Daniel James, and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire. And obviously, we have seen glimpses of what good signings they've proven to be so far. With Daniel James, he's still a prospect and needs time to develop. Obviously, he's only 21 years of age and that, and he's still improvements needed in his game. And it was good to see him score on his Premier League debut against Chelsea. Coming off the bench. Obviously, with Wan-Bissaka, he was fantastic as well throughout pre-season. Also did fantastic on his Premier League debut against Chelsea. His defensive contribution's good. Obviously, I think he intercepts the ball really, really well. And obviously, we do know that Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. We have got quite a few full backs in our team, but obviously Wan-Bissaka is the first choice right back. You've obviously got Ashley Young there as probably as a backup. You've obviously got Diego Dalot as well that can play, as a right back, left back, and of course man a right winger. So he's very, very versatile. So obviously, we have got quite a few fullbacks, and obviously, with Harry Maguire, he's addressing our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well. He also, did well on his debut against Chelsea and that. And Harry Maguire, he's blending in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline fantastically well. I did say, they will make a fantastic partnership. Obviously, Harry Maguire's distribution is very, very good. He's also very, very good in the air. He's highly experienced, well Premier League proven in that. And I do believe he's got all the ingredients, required, to become a huge success at Manchester United. And that maybe we did overpay for Harry Maguire. We paid obviously £80 million for him. Obviously, this is made him the most expensive defender in the world. It's also, made him our second most expensive signing, behind Paul Pogba. But maybe we did overpay for him. We're known for spending big on players, and we have overpaid for players in recent years. But like I said, we can afford to pay for other players because we're a rich club, we're a massive club. Obviously, we've got massive revenues. We haven't only spent big on players. We've also got players on big contracts. But like I said, Manchester United can't afford to do this. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre backs are obviously not going to be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof this season. Maybe in the Premier League, that is. Maybe in the cup games, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will rotate a little bit in that. But with Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, I think they're going to be a fantastic partnership in that. And obviously, Harry Maguire is the best option what we've got in our backline at this present time. With Victor Lindelof, I think he's also flourishing at Manchester United. With Victor Lindelof, these question marks around him. Can he keep the consistency up? I think he can definitely keep the consistency up, because I think Victor Lindelof has got all the attributes to succeed at Manchester United and that. Victor Lindelof now is in his 3rd season as a Manchester United player. Victor Lindelof, didn't really settle in his first season at Manchester United. Lacked that consistency. But I thought in his 2nd season, there was a vast improvements in his game and that. And I thought we got him for a reasonable figure. Paid around, was it 30 or £31 million for him from Benfica and that. But yeah, he's done very, very well for Manchester United's Lindelof. I think his distribution's good. I think his passing, that's really, really good. So yeah, I think he's going to succeed at Manchester United, his Lindelof. And I think, the club anyway, should orchestrate on selling at least one central defender. Because obviously now we've got around 7 central defenders and all that. Obviously we've got Harry Maguire, we've got Lindelof, we've got Smalling, we've got Jones, we've got Rojo, we've got Bay, we've got Alex Tuanzebe. I think we are now obviously orchestrating on keeping Alex Tuanzebe. Obviously, following his serious knee injury that Eric Bay had sustained. Obviously, we do know Eric Bay's got a serious knee injury. He's out for up to 5 months. Obviously, he sustained this injury, throughout pre-season, and I do know how much of an imperative player that Eric Bailly is. He's very imperative, is Eric Bailly, and he has got great potential, and he's absolutely fantastic when he's fully fit. But I think Eric Bailly's Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained and that. So yeah, so maybe Manchester United, would be open to selling him, if the right offer came in. Obviously, we probably would be at least looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him from Villarreal, back in 2016. And I think, we also need to get rid of Rojo. He's one player that definitely needs to leave the football club, even though Rojo, was good throughout pre-season. Obviously, Rojo's just got under 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United. As you all know, Everton went in for Rojo, was it on deadline day? Obviously, we put a £25 million valuation on him. For Rojo, we put a £25 million valuation on him. But like I said, Marcus Rojo's Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained. Obviously, he isn't first choice anywhere, but he can play centrally, can also play on the left, so his versatility is very, very good, so that's good in that aspect. But he isn't really going to get the chance this season, is Marcus Rojo. So I think obviously we do need to cash in for him, because he's one of the problematic players. I've also got the same thoughts about Matty or Darmian. I think we also need to get rid of Darmian. Obviously he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. I think Darmian now has obviously been in the club now over 4 years, so I think Darmian and Rojo definitely two players there that we do need to get rid of, and probably we could generate around 30 or 35 million pounds for their departures. So I think we need to get rid of both of them players. With regards to Chris Smalling and Phil Jones, obviously I think they're also no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. Obviously they're too inconsistent now, they're aging up and that. We have seen glimpses of how good they can be, Smalling and Jones. Smalling of course has been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, so obviously both players have nearly been here a decade. They've been here since the Alex Ferguson era and that, and it was bad business from the club giving them 2 new long-term contracts last season. I don't think they'll hardly get the chance this season. Now obviously following Harry Maguire's arrival, it's going to be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. That's going to be our first choice, like I said. Maybe Smalling and Jones could still get given the opportunities maybe in the cup games and that, but I think they are 2 problematic players at Manchester United. But like I did say, it was always going to be hard for us to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window and that. And I do believe we need furthermore investment is needed in January, probably perhaps next summer. But I do believe the board have assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be back to him in the next couple of windows, because I think the board have come to terms that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough throughout the course of this summer. And I think regardless of what happens this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job will be safe, which is obviously very, very good news. As long as we're not fighting relegation, or as long as we're not in a mid-table, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job should be fine for them at least this season. But I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking with Ed Woodward throughout the course of summer about the lack of business in that in the current transfer market. But obviously I did say certain players would have had reservations about joining the football club, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for this season. But obviously at the start of the summer Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had worked out his transfer strategy, and obviously he did say he wanted to recommend a number of young players to come to Manchester United that could grow, develop and emulate him in success. To be fair, he brought three good additions to the squad. It's good that we've got that experienced centre half in it. Also, it's good that we've got that right back in that. But obviously, we need to strengthen up in that midfield and that. Obviously, throughout the course of summer as well, was in search for a right winger. We was in search for a right winger and that. But like I said, further more investment is needed. Definitely, further more investment is needed. But like I said, I think our expectations this season, we'll be able to finish in that top 4 and maybe win some silver. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's obviously got to exceed these expectations. But I do believe we're going to have a much better season this season. Anyway, we've started the season fantastically well, did well throughout pre-season. Won 6 games out of 6, 12 goals scored and only 3 goals conceded. And obviously, we started off fantastically well with a 4-0 victory against Chelsea in that. So we have started the season, really, really well. So I think we look much better defensively. We look much better defensively. And look how many goals we conceded last season. We conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games. Obviously that was our highest total, of course, in 40 years and that. So now it's good that we've addressed our defensive deficiencies, and I think our defensive transition is very, very good now. I think we also look much better in the attacking third of the pitch, because now we've got that pace in that attacking third of the pitch, and that's obviously obviously, something we lacked last season was that pace, and this is why last season, wasn't scoring enough goals. This is why I wasn't fluent enough in attack. This is why I wasn't, ruthless enough in front of a goal. But now, we've got that pace up front, because you've got Daniel James with electrifying pace. You've also got, Martial and Rashford with fantastic pace. Rashford, I think, is good at receiving the ball. He can get them runs in behind. I think his finishing's also improved. So I think Rashford, should score from between 15 to 20 goals this season at least. And I've got the same thoughts about Martial. He should score from between 15 to 20 goals this season and that. But obviously we do know Martial can play out wide and centrally. Rashford can play out wide and centrally and that. But I think Martial obviously will be playing more centrally this season. Obviously he's been given that number 9 shirt. But I think Martial looks more effective in that central position. Obviously as that got proven throughout pre-season and that. And I think Martial and Rashford will be phenomenal this season. They'll be exceptional, Martial and Rashford this season. I know there was inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season with Martial and Rashford, but I still said at that point they are still the long-term solutions for Manchester United. They're developing really well. Rashford's 21. Martial, of course, is only 23 and that. So they are still long-term solutions for Manchester United. Martial's finishing's improved. He's good at getting them runs in behind. His speeds, also very good. So yeah, so they're both very good players. So it's very imperative that they stay at the football club. Obviously, in regards to Mason Greenwood and Chon and Gomez and that, I think they're going to be a big part in the squad this season. Obviously with Mason Greenwood, I think he's obviously going to be assured more playing time this season. Obviously Mason Greenwood's only 17 years of age, but Mason Greenwood's gained a bit more experience throughout pre-season. That obviously did well for the reserves last season, scoring 30 goals in 29 appearances and that, so he'll be a big part of the squad this season. With Chon, he hasn't played yet, but I do believe Chon will get given his opportunities, and obviously with Gomez he'll get given his opportunities. But I do believe the young players anywhere were at fruition throughout pre-season, and I do believe the young upcoming players will be at fruition this season and that. So we have got quite a few young upcoming players. We've got quite a few fringe players. We've also got quite a lot of experienced players, and I do believe they'll all more or less the majority of them should be giving her the chance this season, which is very good to see in that. But like I said, in that midfield, it does really concern me, because obviously if Paul Pogba is to stay at the football club, obviously we've got to try and avoid him getting injured in that, because Paul Pogba has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. But where's the backup to Paul Pogba? I know we've got the likes of McTominay, Pereira and Fred, and they really did well throughout pre-season that. But I still don't know if they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United, if you get what I mean. I don't know if they've got all the attributes to succeed as Manchester United players. Fred, Pereira, and Scott McTominay and that. I thought McTominay was fantastic throughout pre-season. I think McTominay is obviously going to get given more chances this season. I thought he blended in very well alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield against Chelsea. And McTominay, I think will improve this season, and obviously will get giving them chances in that. But when McTominay is playing well, he can play between the lines well. His defensive contribution that is very good, and he's still got a lot of development in him. But still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. My overarching view on Fred. With Fred, I think he's been a disappointment, since he come to Manchester United. Obviously, he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk. Obviously, hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United and that. Credit Fred though, he did well towards the back end of last season. He also did well, throughout pre-season. Obviously, didn't play against Chelsea, so could participate in the Wolves game. Could Fred, and actually, Fred's on that list of one of our most expensive signings, because we paid just under £50 million for him. Obviously, we did get him last summer under the Jose Mourinho era, but Fred never really got the opportunity under the Jose Mourinho era and that. But I do believe Fred is actually a better solution than Matic in that, because I think Fred's more mobile and better on the ball than Nemanja Matic. I think Nemanja Matic is very inconsistent. I thought he was only really the disappointing player throughout pre-season, but I don't think Matic is going to be first choice this season due to his lack of consistency in that. I know he was first choice last season that, but Matic for me doesn't really have a future at the football club. His age, he isn't getting any younger. To be fair, we have seen glimpses of how good he can be in a Manchester United shirt. Obviously he's highly experienced, when he was at Chelsea, he won a couple of titles with Chelsea, but he's just too slow, his Matic in that midfield. So I've got strong concerns about that midfield. So that's one of the priority areas we have got, of course, got to strengthen up in January. But it's a shame we didn't get Bruno Fernandes throughout the course of summer, because I would have been excited about the prospect of Bruno Fernandes, playing alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield, because obviously, disregarding what happens with Paul, regardless what happens with Paul Pogba, sorry, you know, it wouldn't have meant all anywhere. You know, regardless what happens with Paul Pogba, you know, it wouldn't have affected, you know, Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United or Christian Eriksen about, you know, coming here to Manchester United, because it's initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to find a replacement for Herrera and of course Marina Fellaini in that midfield. But like I said, you know, we've the obviously, you know, the dimension of this club, you know, the history of this club, of course, you know, we should be competing for trophies and of course winning trophies, and this is something, you know, we haven't really been doing for the last 6 years, because obviously, you know, we have been a toxic club for the last 6 years and all that, but obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, you know, objective is basically, you know, to get Manchester United back to competing and of course winning silverware. This is something, of course, that he does want to bring back to the football club, and obviously, you know, wants to bring that winning mentality back, obviously wants to bring the correct philosophy back to Manchester United, and I do believe anywhere Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy in that. But I do believe, I initially said our aspirations, you know, will be that top four in the next couple of seasons. But I think, you know, if we can do more investment in the next couple of windows, I think we can win the league next season without a shadow of a doubt. But we have got good players. You know, our squad's pretty good, but I don't think it's good enough yet, you know, to win the league and that. But obviously, you know, like, we haven't got the structure anyway, you know, to keep sacking managers. Obviously, we do know that 3 managers have already been sacked, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. And obviously, you know, the main factor reason why we've been inconsistent in the last 6 years or so is because obviously we've been mismanaged, and, you know, this is why we've been underachieving. And I don't like the way, you know, the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years. Obviously, you know, we haven't really been the same team, you know, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. But, you know, don't get me wrong, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. You know, I think just under £1 billion has been spent in the last 6 years since Alex Ferguson's retirement. Obviously, if I'm to take into account what we spent under Alex Ferguson, obviously, you know, it's way over £1 billion that we've obviously, you know, spent, if you want to take into account what we spent under Alex Ferguson and that. But we have spent a hell of a lot of money. Obviously, players have come in and of course players have gone. I think there's obviously been cultural problems at the club anywhere in the last 5 or 6 years. I think, as Gary Neville, you know, was saying a while back, you know, but like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. Obviously, this summer, £148 million has been spent under Solskjaer. Obviously, you know, under Jose Mourinho, just under £400 million was spent on 11 players. Obviously, you know, Solskjaer's inheriting them now. And like I said, the couple of main factor reasons why it didn't work out under Mourinho, because even though Mourinho had that proven pedigree, you know, he's won stuff everywhere he's been and was one of the best managers in the world, didn't work out under him because obviously, reflecting back last summer, you know, the board weren't backing the signs that he wanted to recommend into the football club. Obviously, he had bad disputes with the board as well. You know, he had bad disputes with the top players. Obviously, you know, there was no sort of transfer strategy under Mourinho. There was no kind of, you know, winning philosophy under Jose Mourinho and that. So this is the reason, you know, why it didn't work out under him and that. Even though a substantial amount was spent under him, and obviously, you know, won the Europa League and League Cup under Jose Mourinho's first season. Obviously, you know, back under Louis van Gaal, just over £200 million was spent, and we spent a substantial amount under him. You know, he brought players like Di Maria in, did Van Gaal. You know, maybe that was one of the mistakes Man United did, maybe getting rid of Di Maria, because I thought Di Maria, you know, started well under the Louis van Gaal era. You know, we paid just under £60 million for Di Maria, so he's obviously in that list of one of our most expensive signings and that. Obviously brought the likes of Memphis Depay. You know, Depay enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United and all that, but I think since he left Man United he's done very, very well for Leon as Memphis Depay. Obviously brought the likes of Falcao in. I think Falcao only had a short tenure at Manchester United. He brought Schweinsteiger in, you know, he brought Schneiderlin in, you know, he brought Herrera in. Herrera was fantastic for Manchester United, obviously we do know now. Obviously, you know, he's left the football club. Van Gaal brought Luke Shaw in. Luke Shaw, of course, is still at the club now, and Solskjaer's still inheriting some of the players that Van Gaal brought in, and Luke Shaw's a very, very imperative player in that. I know back under the Jose Mourinho era, you know, he had like a fallout with Mourinho and that, and he was a few times in his tenure with Man United, he has sustained quite a few injuries as Luke Shaw and that. But Luke Shaw's very imperative. He's our first choice left back and that. And obviously, reflect on his impressive performances last season. He won the double player of the season. Did Luke Shaw. So very, very imperative player for Man United. Obviously, don't forget he brought Martial in. You know, did Louis van Gaal. So yeah, Louis van Gaal, brought him quite a lot of players in to the football club and that. Obviously, back under David Moyes' era, not really much was spent under David Moyes' era. Just under £67 million, I think it was. Obviously, he recommended Juan Mata. Now that's still here. Obviously, he brought Fellaini in, who we paid, was it around £27 million for, or something like that. Obviously, he left the football club back in January after Fellaini served 6 years at Manchester United. But I think Fellaini is like similar to Matic, because obviously, they're both slow and that. I think Matic is probably better than Fellaini because he can pass the ball better, but I think they are both slow players in that. And don't get me wrong, these still players from the Alex Ferguson era that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is inheriting. There's still players here from Alex Ferguson era, of course, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is inheriting. So you can still say that basically, he's in the process of rebuilding and that. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's got that experience of a manager. Obviously, he provided a great achievement for Molde. I know Molde are not really know it, but he still won a couple of Norwegian titles with Molde. He also managed Cardiff when he was younger, but he only had a short tenure with Cardiff. Did Solskjaer? It didn't really work out for him at Cardiff and that. But I do believe he can succeed at Manchester United, like I said. Obviously, he knows the traditions of the club. He was a great long-serving player for the club for 11 years under Alex Ferguson and that, and he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. But I knew anyway at the start of the summer, what squad Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to rebuild, because he did say he wanted to buy into our history and that. But yeah, like I said, regardless of our manager is anywhere, even if we had a manager to the highest level now, we're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson. No one's going to ever, follow Alex Ferguson's legacy and that. But even though we have been inconsistent in the last 6 years, we are still the most successful team in England. Historically, one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've won 13 Premier League. 20 more in all. Obviously, I was watching TV the other day and I caught Jamie Carragher, actually, why didn't Gary never look? Because obviously, with Liverpool win the Super Cup. Overall, Liverpool have won more silverware than us. They've won 43 trophies. I think, we've won 42. But that doesn't make Liverpool better than us, historically in terms of trophies and that. Because obviously, Liverpool have not won a Premier League yet. They haven't won it. They haven't won it all in all, for 3 decades. But they haven't ever won the Premier League, since it got founded in, 92, 93. They have come close on quite a few occasions. And, I do believe Liverpool will be up there this season, without a doubt. I think they'll be up there this season. I still don't think they'll win the league, though, because I think Manchester City are better than them. And obviously, Man City have got the experience in that. Man City have got, a fantastic manager. He's the best manager in the world, in my opinion, is Guardiola and that. And obviously, City are going for their 3rd league on the trot. They're going for their 5th all in all and that. And I've obviously give praise for what Manchester City have done. I've got to credit them what they've done. Obviously, they've spent a hell of a lot of money, just like we have and that. But City are the dominant force now, of course, in England. But I do believe they're going to win the league again this season. Manchester City. I think they got Joe Cancelo, throughout the course the summer. But Pep Guardiola, he's got that proven pedigree. And I think the majority of his money is spent has obviously been on that Manchester City team. He spent over £1 billion all in all in his career, including what he spent at Bayern Munich and Barcelona. And I think Guardiola is emulating the football. What he did at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and of course he has brought that to Manchester City in that. But I think City will be favourites to win the league this season. Liverpool, I think, probably get runners up. I think we'll finish 3rd this season. I think Tottenham should be competing this season. Like I said, they did good business, throughout the course of the summer. They also did very, very well on deadline day, did Tottenham. So Tottenham have come quite close on quite a few occasions, but I still don't think, they are currently, going to win the league. With Arsenal, they'll have a better season this season, but I don't think they'll win the league. But I think, Arsenal, could finish in that top 4, because they did good investment, throughout the course of the summer. Don't forget, they only got a tight budget. Arsenal, they only got around £40 million to spend. I think there's vast majority of Arsenal fans demanding, if Arsenal fail top 4 this season, obviously, they will be demanding Umran out. Obviously, this is Umran's, I think, 2nd season as Arsenal manager, and that, wasn't really good in his 1st season with Arsenal. Wasn't really good in his 1st season with Arsenal, but obviously, it was a transition. Arsenal, it was a transition, basically, season for them, Arsenal, and that. But they should finish, at least in the top 4 this season. That. But I always like, Premier League football, when it's back, and it is back now, which is absolutely fantastic. I obviously, give my preview for the Wolves Manchester United game. I think that's going to be a tough encounter for us. To be quite honest, it's going to be, very, very tough. Like I said, Wolves are very competitive. The record against the top 6 sides is very, very good. after that was proven last season. And Wolves enjoyed a very, very good season last season. You know, they finished 7th. I think they also got qualification for the Europa League, and you've got to praise the job. You've got to praise what Nuno Santos has done for Wolves so far. He has done a really, really good job there with them. I think they've also spent a substantial amount of Wolves, and Wolves have got good players there. They've got Navas, how have you pronounced his name? They've also got Moutinho. I think they've also got, you know, Diego Jota in that. So Wolves have got some good players in that in their squad that could cause us problems, because they're good defensively. They're in attacking intent, they're really, really good. They can pass the ball well, come Wolves. So we have to be up for this task. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a bad record against Wolves. He's lost all his 3 games against Wolves. I think twice with Man United last season, and of course once with Cardiff. Obviously we didn't beat Wolves at all last season. We drew them, and of course lost twice in that. So obviously we do have to be up for this game. I don't think Solskjaer will go with the same team as he did do against Chelsea. I think obviously he will rotate a little bit in that. He will rotate it. Obviously, it confirmed Darmian's been back in training. He's back in training now, but I don't think Darmian will play, because obviously he served his 2 requirements. Darmian, of course, didn't play throughout pre-season. Fred, you know, could be in line to play. He could start, or he could at least participate in the game. Fred didn't play against Chelsea. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer expects big things from Fred this season, like he was saying. Maybe Sanchez could be involved. If Sanchez is involved, I don't think he'll start. I think, you know, he'll obviously, you know, come on as a substitute. It depends on how his fitness goes and all that. Alexis Sanchez. But yeah, I think I'm confident, you know, we can win the game against the Wolves and that. Obviously, it's our first away game of this season. Obviously, it is on the Monday night. It is, of course, an 8 o'clock kickoff. You know, Wolves drew 0-0 with Leicester. I thought Wolves, you know, played quite well in that game. And I think Wolves probably, you know, will have another good season, to be quite honest. I predict them probably maybe to finish in the top 6, top 7 again. That's why I'm predicting, you know, Wolves to finish them and all that. But it's going to be, you know, a tough game for Manchester United. So we have to be up on our game, because in that Chelsea game, it was a very, very good performance. But like I saw in that first 15-20 minutes, you know, we was losing the ball far too easily. You know, we looked lost for ideas in that midfield and that. And, you know, Chelsea were dominant in the first 15-20 minutes of that game. You know, they pressed high up the pitch well, they passed the ball well, their tenacity was good. You know, they were creating decent opportunities. Don't forget they hit the post and the woodwork quite a few times. So we was, you know, looking sluggish in that first 15 to 20 minutes, but I think as soon as we went 1-0, you know, we started to take control of the game. But I thought the second half performance in the game against Chelsea, you know, was better than the first half and that. But I think we can definitely, you know, overcome Wolves and that. So we do want to make it 2 wins out of 2 in the Premier League, of course. But I also believe this season we'll improve our record against the top 6 sides, because our record against the top 6 sides, you know, wasn't that good last season. It was obviously, you know, very, very disappointing in that. But yeah, that's mainly everything to update you with. And with De Gea, obviously, you know, I think De Gea has been a great servant to the club. You know, he's now in his 9th season at Manchester United. Obviously, he served 8 years at the club, and he's now in his 9th season. We do know De Gea has agreed a 6-year contract with Man United. Obviously, you know, worth around up to £117 million. I think it's around £375 a week. So obviously, that's going to make him the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. Also, make him one of the highest paid at the club as well. You know, De Gea. But I don't think his contract has yet been announced. So, well, I haven't really heard any news back, but it should be fully announced sometime. But yeah, De Gea is of course very, very imperative. So he's one player he's staying at Manchester United. In regards to Mata, I think he may get his opportunities this season. Obviously, he isn't first choice. Juan Mata, obviously, last season that was proven last season that obviously, you know, Juan Mata is no longer first choice. I thought Mata did well, you know, towards the back end last season. Mata was obviously staying at the club. He signed a 2-year contract with an option to extend by a further year earlier on in the summer. But yeah, Juan Mata can play as a number 10. He can also play on that right hand side. You know, same as Lingard. Lingard can play on number 10. Lingard can play on the right. But obviously, Lingard is first choice ahead of Juan Mata in that. So I probably think Lingard will probably participate in the game against Wolves. But yeah, and I think, you know, in terms of the formation, and you know, obviously Solskjaer went with a 4-2-3-1 against Chelsea. You know, I think he could go with a different formation against Wolves, and I said he rotate a bit, but I think he'll probably go with that 4-2-3-1 formation on a regular basis this season. Sometimes you'll probably go with a 4-3-3, because we have gone with that 4-3-3 system quite a few times. Could even maybe go with a 5-3-2. I think also Alex Tuanzebe, you know, could get given a chance in the Wolves game. He didn't obviously, you know, play against Chelsea. And Tuanzebe, I think, you know, he'll be a big part of the squad this season. He'll get his chances. You know, Tuanzebe was good throughout pre-season. He also did well. Did well in his loan spell with Aston Villa last season. Yeah. so I think he'll definitely get given his opportunities. So the main part of this video, guys, was to give you the latest news in regards to Pogba and Sanchez. I do believe now they could be both staying at the football club. Good Sanchez and Pogba. Well, let me know in the comments below. Are you happy about this? With Sanchez, I'm not kind of happy because I want him to leave the football club. With Pogba, though, I'm happy, if he's to stay at Manchester United. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.